Blog Talk Radio. Into another episode of Too Lit Tuesdays right here on Endie Fiya with your girl, Nakia. Guys, I'm exhausted. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm exhausted. I can't even, normally I wait for the countdown to count us into the show. I wait for the little intro music to play, whatever, and then I'm super excited. I got, all my energy. That's my kryptonite, you know what I'm saying? Oh, wait, my vibranium? Yeah. That's my vibranium. And tonight, I can't get with it, at all. I would much rather be in my bed. I'm going to keep it real. Next week, that's what we're going to do. We're going to record from my bed next week. How about that? Let me quickly tell you what you've been missing, what's going to go on coming up the end of this week as well as next week. And as always, if you can't make them all, please, please, please do not miss them all. Monday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure you're tuning in with my boy Caso Moore on Monday Morning Motivation on My Struggle is My Strength right here on Endie Fiya. If you missed the purpose points for yesterday, you guys know I'll give them to you on Monday night. So go back and listen so you can catch those purpose points, all right? We're in the Head First series. We've gone over Seed. We've gone over, what was last week? I don't remember. But yesterday, this week, it is progress, all right? The things that we need to do to be accomplishing progress in our lives, all right? I'm going to be tongue-tied tonight, and I'm going to tell you guys. I'm going to get with it, all right? I promise you, okay? Thursday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have actress, model, singer, songwriter Jordan Paulette is going to be here. You may have seen her on Nickelodeon, on Ant Farm, on Love and Hip Hop, on CSI Miami, on America's Top Model. Yeah, she's done a whole lot. We're going to have her here Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's 3:30 p.m. Over in Cali, where she's at, all right? Then back here next Monday, we have what is Monday? New Music Mondays. Yes, New Music Mondays. We have, remember last month when we did the UK Grime edition of New Music Mondays? We play all the grime artists from the UK. All right, so this coming Monday will be, or next Monday I should say, will be the Niger edition. All right, so all Nigerian artists. If I don't have your new music, I need it so we can get you in rotation for next Monday's New Music Mondays. Okay? You can email Monica at info@indiefireradio.com. Oh, you shaking your head? No, I'm sorry. You can email Siobhan at info@indiefireradio.com. Thank you. And if you want to skip the middleman and get everything directly to me, head over to the website at www.indiefireradio.com. Click on the tab that says New Music Monday Submissions. Make sure that you give me the artist name, a little bit about the artist and the track, and, of course, you must upload the file. If not, I can't play your music. All right? So most importantly, why don't you do that first? Upload the file. I'll get the file in queue to be uploaded, and then give me all these specifics about the artist and the track, and then send it over. All right? And then back here next Tuesday, it's your Monday. I think it might be Monday. Yes. Next Monday, the 29th, we will have Ricky Evans here with us, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. He has a track out right now with Mano that's blazing the charts. He had a track last year with Eric Bellinger that was crazy. So I'm super excited to have him here next Monday because he's been trying to get on the show since last year. Don't tell nobody, all right? And then on Tuesday, the 30th, as we close out the month, we're going to have our open discussion, our open forum here. We're going to be talking about all of the social and racial injustices that have been going on, in our country and I want to say throughout the world. Maybe they're not feeling it like we're feeling it here, but they are behind our cause. I posted something the other day on Facebook about how in Tokyo they had their first Black Lives Matter protest, peaceful protest with 3,500 participants, and some ignorant fool said to me, they got black men in Tokyo, and I thought, hold up, because first of all you saw was 3,500, and you saw Black Lives Matter. So you automatically assumed, I didn't say anything about a 1,000,000-man or 1,000-man march. I said what the article stated. And if you click on the article and read the article, then you would know who all was involved in this protest. So there are people all country, throughout the world who they're fighting just like we are. They know the wrongs that are being done. They have witnessed the wrongs being done, whether it be firsthand, whether it be through the media. They see this, and so they're standing behind us and supporting us, here in the U.S. And so to answer your question, sir, Black men and women both reside in Tokyo, okay? They actually have a Black Lives Matter chapter in Tokyo, all right? So do your research before you start making a fool of yourself. That's all I got to say. That's how we're going to end out the month of June. I think that's all the announcements I have. Good enough. Super excited to have my guest here this evening with me. We have had several of her authors on the show recently, and it took a name being dropped, like the name of the publishing company, for me to put two and two together and finally get four and finally make all of this make sense to me. So I'm really excited to be able to talk to, the lady that is in charge of all of this. I'm talking about Denora M. Boone. She is the CEO of Anointed Inspirations Publishing, as well as the author of over 35 independent novels. Denora grew up in Milledgeville, Georgia, and began penning stories for fun during middle and high school years. She didn't know that her creativity would lead to multiple #1 bestsellers. Now stepping out into another area of writing, Denora has become a rising screenwriter in the film and television industry with a focus on writing both drama and comedy. She created and wrote her first web series, She, the Series, and that's capital S, capital H, capital E, the series, that follows the life of a young girl following in the steps of her father and becoming one of the most feared but respected women in the world. She can be watched on www.shetheseries.com, as well as currently producing a short film, Quarantine Babe, based on her most recent novel of the same title. Denora has also written for the highly popular YouTube web series Project Heat Atlanta and looks forward to joining and creating other productions in the near future. Because of her great ability to create vivid and captivating stories, Denora is the recipient of the 2015 AAMBC Literary Award for Christian Fiction Author of the Year and nominated for the same award for both 2016 and 2017. She also holds the 2017 MBP Award for Christian Fiction Author of the Year and was nominated for the Author Academy Awards 2018 for Best Religious Book for Mama Raised Me, Her Demons Changed Me. That gave me chills. Anybody listening audience, I present to you this evening my very, very special guest, author, screenwriter, publisher, entrepreneur, Denora M. Boone. All right, so we talked before the show just a little bit, and I'm sorry, I should have told you that was going to pop up, but we talked before the show, and I told you I was feeling like, but it seems to, I guess my vibranium has now taken over from head to toe. I'm kind of feeling like myself. Guys, my heart was just racing, like before the show, this is the first time I've done this. But it wasn't fear or stage fright or anything. It was the fact that I walked from the studio into the kitchen area to grab a bottle of water, and I just got winded. I'm talking like 20 steps, just out of breath. So, but I'm good now. Like I feel like myself all over again, and that's the energy that I get, on the show. I want to say off top, I am so thankful to you that you're here with me this evening. You could have been anywhere, but you stopping by to chop it out with me, myself, and my listening audience to share all about why it is that you're passionate about the things that you are. So thank you.
I appreciate you for having me. I'm excited.
So I want to jump right into this. Like I want to start from the bottom and kind of work my way up because I've seen a lot of authors tackle this pandemic. And in doing so, they put out, some sci-fi books. They put out some comedy, you know what I'm saying? But when it came to writing Quarantine Bay, where did all of that, come from? I see people that are missing their significant other, like me. I see people who have used this time to, kind of be to themselves and not worry about a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a bae, or whatever. They've used this time to just kind of connect more with themselves. I've seen the memes talking about, things you should not do and going out and catching a man or catching a woman. That's not one of those things you should be doing at this time. Don't allow this time to, get you all lonely or whatever. But where did your idea for writing Quarantine Bay and the title, where did that all come from?
Well, one day I was literally bored. I couldn't figure out, anything to write. I wanted to write. So I was having a conversation with my sister-in-law, and we were just, talking about silly stuff. And the conversation sparked like, hey, what if I do a book on, quarantine and, with somebody, but not make it so normal and something that people can expect. So we threw out, ideas to each other. She let me, pick her brain. And then I just started writing. I wrote Quarantine Bay in like 3 days, even though it's a short. I wrote it in like 3 days. And then I was like, well, hey, let me go ahead and do the movie. I think we can, wouldn't it be neat to do a movie during quarantine and see how a production can get done when we're supposed to be social distancing? So that was kind of like my main mind frame. And then once I started writing the story, I just fell in love with it because I feel like with so much heaviness going on, we need something that's a little bit lighter. So that's what I wanted Quarantine Bay to be. I didn't want it to be, focused on the negative of what's going on. I wanted to give, people just a minute to say, okay, I can take a break from everything that's going on and be entertained and laugh and get that, that feeling of just releasing the heaviness. And that's what, so far, I think that Quarantine Bay has done for people.
So when you decided to write the film, what did you start with? Did it have to have structure, or did you start with specific scenes that came from?
Well, I wanted it to stay true to the story that I wrote. Because I see a lot of times when people adapt, books into movies, they kind of, steer away from the book. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted it to remain true. And I wanted it to be kind of like, when people have their song release and then you get a visual, well, back in the day, because now videos don't even match the song.
No, they don't.
I wanted to kind of have that type of, feel. I give you the book, and then I bring the book to life, literally. So I stayed as close to the book as possible. There were maybe a couple of changes that I made that I didn't incorporate in the book. Like I didn't incorporate the things that are going on with, like, making mention of, like, the Black Lives Matter and things that are going on now, because I wrote the book before all of this really jumped off. So within the movie, I've incorporated, making sure that we make mention of and recognize things that are going on now besides the quarantine. So that would be the only difference that would be different from the book and the movie, but 99% of the movie is the book.
Do your characters or those individuals who are now starring or going to star in the film, how did you go about acquiring them?
Well, I've worked with the main character now, Quincy. He's played by LaThomas Lee. He played in my first series, She. So he was the main character in that, as well as his significant other. She's also in it. Her name is Asia J. So she's playing Nigel. He's playing Quincy. And I've worked with both of them before. And so they have a production company. It's called Just Us Entertainment. It's out of Atlanta, Georgia. And they are the ones that's producing it. So I did my part in writing the script. I sent it to them, and they've done an amazing job as far as the casting, putting the production together, and making sure that the vision that I have for my work is being brought to light in the best possible way.
Oh, wow. We definitely have to get them on the show. Make sure you give me their information so somebody can reach out to them so we can have them on the show. Is there a release date? Or do you have one in mind, or is it etched in stone, or?
We don't have a release date yet for the release. We're still going through the production phase, and we have a few more days of production to go. I'm hoping it'll be able to be ready sometime in July, maybe the mid to end July, but we don't have a set date just yet.
Has what's been going on globally, has that affected the production time at all?
Actually, it's helped us with this production because of the main film industry being shut down and nobody's been filming. The people that we were able to utilize for this production, they weren't working on those bigger, projects. So that allowed us to be able to use them. And with it not being such a extremely long feature, and we're trying to work with as few people as possible in order to, maintain that social distancing. So it's actually helped because everybody is, ready to go, ready to work. They don't have anything else on their plate right now. So when that picks back up, it would take away time for this project to be done, but it's actually helped.
Well, that's awesome. Because a lot of creatives, I find, have found so many different ways to work around what most of us may consider obstacles or setbacks. Those with the creative side, this has been an opportunity for growth in so many different ways. And that's another way. The artists that I speak to, they're all up in the air because they can't get into a venue to perform. They can't be at a festival performing. They can't do what they're accustomed to doing, but they've found that through all of that still, because the voice that they have within their own platform and their own brand, they're still able to use those voices to appeal, to others in so many different ways. And so I feel like this time has allowed just everyone, if you've utilized it properly, it has allowed you to see growth not only in yourself, but the things that you're passionate about. So that's great.
Absolutely.
That it's actually added to and not taken away from what you're trying to achieve. So I'm glad for that right there. I want to talk about the She the series. I want to talk about that. Now, I know about the book because I actually started, trying to read it, but I'm trying to read like 12 different books right now. Every author that's on the show, let me send you my book. Go get my book. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get it. So after my shows, I always take an hour to read, and if the book is really good, I finish it in that night. If the book is not good, then it kind of sits on the back burner until.
Right.
But I'm so fortunate to be able to, or to have been able to be linked with so many wonderful authors. So I can't catch up on the books that I'm supposed to be reading. Like I said, I'm like 12 deep right now. But I do not know a lot about She the series. So tell my audience about, how that all came about, the writing process behind that web series, and what it's taken or what it took for you to even, get to that point to say, hey, this is what I want to do, because a lot of people can visualize it. They can even write down what they want to do, but they never bring any of that to fruition. So what was it like for you, or what has it been like for you just to go through creating that web series and for it to be, as popular as it is?
Well, what happened with it didn't begin as a book. I was asked by a director of Atlanta. His name is Tracy, the director. He's at Kinship Studios. He asked me to come in and write for the 48-hour film project in Atlanta. So what that is we don't know the genre that we'll have to write. They give it to us we only have 48 hours in a weekend to complete a movie from conception to finish. So we don't know what genre they're going to give us. Right. We don't know what genre. We don't know, who we'll have to have on a team. But he knew that I was a writer. We've worked together before. So he asked me to come up with, see if we could do a 7-minute script. So I sent him, a sample, and he was like, wait, I don't want to use this for the project because this is too strong of a 7-page. It initially started as a short film. So he was like, no, this is too strong of a series or short. Let's do this at another time. So we did the film festival, and after that wrap, we started on She. And some of the things that I wrote about in the series, it was from, life experiences with, between me and my dad, and some things that I've gone through with, like, me and my grandfather. And I kind of just, use that or those foundation relationships that I have with the men who are closest to me, and then I just turned it into something bigger and longer. And so we started out with the idea of doing just like small glimpses into the life of Majesty, which is the main character. She's played by Brooklyn Fisher. She's a young artist out of Detroit, Michigan. And so started that. It was the first project for Kinship Studios as far as film and television goes. So this was like a learning process for us all. And once I got a taste of, what it takes in the film world and getting to, to know more about it, it's like that was like my aha moment. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. I love the books. The books are my foundation, but this is the direction that I now want to take my creativity in. And so I just look at She as we haven't finished it, and hopefully soon we'll be able to start it back up. But if not, it was still a learning experience for me. And I use that as, as my platform to be able to use and to showcase to people like, hey, I'm serious about this. This is what I want to do. This is the work that I could produce as, as I move along on this journey.
With that series, you mentioned the word produce, and I don't know if it was if you were referencing this web series, but do you write, cast, produce, marketing and promotions? Do you do everything when it comes to your projects? Or do you have a team that works with you?
I've done it in part and with a team. So it hasn't just necessarily just been me doing it all. Like I've had a team with I'm having a team now with, Quarantine Bay. Like I have a team, but I'm learning because the people that are on the team are the professionals in their field. So while I'm the writer, but I'm still learning because I never know when, I might have a idea of wanting to be a director or direct my next film. So I'm learning as I go, and I'm, depending on these people to, teach me while we're working together, so that maybe one day if I decide to be a director, I have that, under my belt. So I've been
Mm-hmm.
grateful and thankful that I have people that are willing to be with me on this journey and show me every step of the way of the things that I don't know.
Got you. Your bio states that you've written over 35 independent novels, that you're a multiple #1 bestseller. When did you first realize that you wanted to even be a writer?
I liked writing when I was in school. Like, that was always my favorite subject when, you know, we would have to come in and have, like, little morning tasks, and it was, you know, write a creative story in your journal. Like, those are the days that I live for. So that was my, you know, my way of just getting my ideas out, seeing how far I could go. But at that time, I never thought that I would be an actual writer. Like, that wasn't in my mind. It wasn't until I got older, you know, and I started going through some personal issues, you know, from being younger. And I was like, how do I get past this? And then I just got the, you know, God gave it to me to write through it. So my first series, even though it's fictional, is based on a lot of truth of what I went through as a teenager. So once I wrote that first series, the God Doesn't Make Mistakes series, that just catapulted me into, okay, I want to do more. So I put it out myself first, but it didn't do as well, and I thought that I would need like this big publishing house behind me. But I ended up going to David Weaver and his company, and he was strictly, you know, urban fiction. Here I come with, you know, this Christian fiction novel, and he didn't turn me away. Like, he embraced it. He's like, let's work. So the same day that I reached out to him was the same day that he sent me my contract. And it's like everything that I learned in the beginning, I have to give credit where it's due, because he's the one that opened that door for me to be able to express myself, my creativity, and get myself out there, you know, to people that I normally wouldn't have met otherwise. So that's kind of where it all started at. And the more that I got to writing and the more that I saw that people are receiving it, because, you know, that Christian fiction category sometimes is taboo for people because they think that it's always so, you know, so churchy and so preachy and,
right.
you know, so
right.
judgmental. And I didn't want to do that because I don't like churches like that. I don't like, you know, Christians like that. I don't want to be, you know, I want to show them something, a different side that is more about relationship than it is religion. So those are what my, you know, books were about in the beginning. And now that I'm doing film, I wanted to branch out and just showcase that, you know, just because I started out writing Christian fiction, I haven't left God. I haven't forgotten who he is. He's still the head of my life, but he also gave me a gift to be able to share, and I don't have to box that gift into one category. So that's why I'm just thankful for the, you know, the opportunity to be able to express as freely as I want to be and not be judged for, you know, what it is, but to be embraced on my creativity and that alone.
You mentioned something a little true, but funny when it comes to Christians and how they perceive everything in the world. But when in writing Christian fiction, how do you balance keeping the message strong while still wanting to reach readers that are beyond, you know, the Christian bookstore or Christian, you know, or churches? How do you keep that message strong and be able to, you know, not only have a message that believers can relate to, but non-believers as well?
I always think about me and what, when I used to read Christian fiction, I was like, this doesn't speak to me. Because what about, you know, what about the people, like you said, the people that, you know, may not go to church, that may not, or they may have gone to church and have been hurt by church, so they turn away.
Right.
So I don't want to write anything that will make them feel like I felt. So I make it relatable. I talk on topics that, you know, other people may feel like, oh, we can't touch that. Well, let me touch it. I'm going to give the message in it. It's going to be entertaining. And by the end, some people may not even know that they're getting a message until the last page. And then it'll hit them like, oh, wow, this is what she means, or this is what, somebody tried to tell me, or the seed that was planted, earlier in childhood or something. I wanted it to be relatable. I didn't want it to go over anybody's head. I didn't want it to feel like I was, choking them with the word or forcing the word to them. I want them to organically draw closer to God. And if this is the way that they have to, build that relationship and get the religion part out of the way, then that's what I wanted to do. But I wanted to make sure that I wrote for the people who aren't in the church and who don't. And I've had a lot of readers in the beginning come to me, and even now come to me and say, I stopped going to church, or I didn't go to church. I never read Christian fiction before, but I read your book. I love it, and you helped me. Like, you helped me to understand, what it is that I was confused about. And I'm sitting here saying, well, I didn't even put whatever message they received. I didn't think that's the message that I put in there, but that's the message they received, and that's what helped them. So I've had people, come and tell me things. I was like, oh, that's a good message. You got that out of my book? I didn't even know, but I was like, okay, whatever gets you closer to what you need or helps you to heal, I'm all here for it. So that's kind of like my mentality. I don't want to ever force anybody, into belief. And then earlier, when I was writing, I thought that's what I had to do. But as I continued to write, I realized that all of those sermons and all of those, being in church, and I tell my authors this all the time, you don't always have to have your characters in the church in order to get the message of across. So you can be, I had one series called Begging at the Altar that I wrote with another author, Janika Johnson, and our main character, she was this powerful grandmother. She believed in God. She believed in the Word, and she was just so anointed. But we never had her in church. She gave every message, every lesson, every confirmation that the characters needed. Like, she was that pillar in the community, but she never set foot. We never had her set foot in church. And I wanted to show that just because that you're not in the physical building, it doesn't mean that you can't have the relationship. You can't get the message across to people. You can't draw people closer to God. It's just a different way of doing it, and that's what I embrace about the gift that God has given me, and I try to steer my, authors in that way.
Speaking of your authors,
what happens when pleasure goes against principles?
He recalled how their bodies collided. They moved in sequence to the sounds of passion.
Does pleasure win over our principles?
He plotted a way to secure his position in her bed forever.
Do principles triumph over our desires?
How could they passionately make love all night? How could she dismiss him like a schoolboy?
Find out in Her Pleasures, His Principles by Chanel, available at Amazon.com.
Yes, paperback and ebook
and Audible.
And
if I'm not mistaken.
You ain't let me finish that. That's how I have to get everything, because if I got to sit down and read it, the way my days are set up, I'm gonna read 2 pages and I'm gonna be out, which is probably what I need to do because I haven't slept in like a week. So it's probably what I need to do. But I have to listen to everything, and read along sometimes. But I prefer, to be able to listen. Somebody got to read to me, But that was Chanel. She just released A Ramsey's Bed Is Never Cold back in, we're still in June? Yes, in June, this month.
Yes.
The beginning of June,
yes,
she dropped that. She has another book that's coming out the end of July, maybe beginning of August. We're going to have her back on the show to talk about that book right there. So she is an author with Anointed Inspirations Publishing. And if you remember, we had Reagan Dennis on the show earlier this month, I want to say the latter part of last month, who is also an author with Anointed Inspirations Publishing. Last year, Dreamwake Work took over with all their authors on the show. So this year it seems we have, some other authors coming on board with Endie Fiya. So I'm super excited to have, everyone that we have coming up, and also to be able to open the door to other Anointed Inspirations publishing authors. All right? When you sit down to write a story, do you know how it's going to end?
I don't know how it's going to end. I don't know how it's going to begin. I don't know the middle. I don't know the characters. I know nothing. Like, I literally sit down at the computer. If an idea pops up in my head, I'll just start typing, and I'll see which direction I'm going in. If I like the direction, I'll keep with it. If I don't like the direction, I'll, get with my husband, run ideas by him. I'll get my other authors, bounce ideas off of them. But I don't know anytime I sit down and write a book or a script, like, where it's going. I literally just have to sit down, because if I try to write out an outline of what I want to do, I never follow the outline. Like, I've written outlines before, and by the time I go back to look at it, nothing that I wrote in that outline is in this book. So I just stop. I'm like, I'm wasting time.
So with no type of quote unquote structure, like, a particular process or using an outline, how do you stay disciplined and not get distracted? Because me, like, I sit down, like I told you, I got off work early to be able to just come home and sit down. And I was like, forget it. I'm going to get in the studio and I'm going to start doing stuff for the show that needs to be done at the end of the year. I'm already working on, like, our award show now. So, but then somebody called me and I got distracted and they needed something done. And then I saw something pop up on the news feed and I got distracted from that and started, working with that person. But how can you just sit down, focus? Something I did see, I'm answering my own question. Something I did see this weekend it's called a cell phone gel, right? And you actually put your phone in this little cage, is what it looks like, a little cage. You lock it up, but that's the gel for your cell phone. And you put a timer on it, and when the timer goes off, it will unlock it. I'd be crazy. I'm talking about that now. Like, it was a good idea when I saw it. I have 3 phones. I would throw them all in there, but then I would sit and watch it and have to wait for that hour or 2 hours or whatever I set it to come up because I couldn't get to my phone. But I need something like that to keep me focused and not distracted. But for you, when you sit down with no outline or it's just kind of free for all, whatever just flows into my head, and how do you stay focused? How do you write like that?
Well, first of all, the cell phone gel, it really wouldn't work for me because I'll lock it up, but there's still internet on my computer. So whatever I want to see on my I still have the computer. So that would be a bad investment. I'm not going to use that because it's not going to work. But if the story is if the story flows, and another thing, like if I give myself a deadline, I think I work better under pressure of a deadline. That's not always. But if the story flows, if I'm pulled in by the characters, if I'm into this world that I'm creating, and the story flows, I can write all day and all night. Like, my husband will literally have to come to me, make sure he saves my document. Okay, it's time to go to bed. Like, that's how focused I'll be. Then other times, I'll start out writing, and then I'll end up on the shade room, and then I'll go to Facebook, and then I'll randomly, like, I'm randomly on Foot Locker, like, just random websites just doing, like, hours couldn't go by. And I've not done a thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, once I get back to it, I'm ready to go. So if I'm in that story and I am loving the story, I think my passion drives me to continue to finishing it. So as long as that passion that I have in me is within that world that I'm creating, I don't have a problem, with writing. Like I said, I've written a full novel in less than a week. I just did this, this short book in 3 days. So I can do it as long as the story flows. If it doesn't, or, it's taking a little bit longer for the characters to really speak to me, it may take me, a little bit longer. and that's when I'll, be on all of the different websites and just doing everything else. But most of the time I am able to. I feel
like when you do that, when you get distracted like that and you start scrolling web pages, when you do get back to where it is that you need to be, do you have a different momentum? Do you now say, okay, I've spent this 4 hours over here doing all this stuff now. I know the direction I want to take. Like, I'm so focused right now. I can get this done. Does your momentum change at all?
Nope.
Or is it just like, you know what, I've been over there for a minute and now I need to sit down and get this done? You know what I'm saying? I might look at that again a little bit later, but
I have my pep talk like, girl, come on now. You've been over here looking at all this stuff for the last 3.5 hours. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. I'll write 10 words and I'm back on something else. I'm on Twitter and then I'm down to the Facebook. So, yeah, no, it literally has to be a story. Like, I have so many unfinished books on my computer. It's ridiculous. Because it's like if the characters don't speak or I'm not feeling them anymore at the time, I have to go to something different. But now I've kind of, if I can't write a book or I'm not into writing, a book, I'll go in and I'll pen a script or I'll do because a lot of the ideas that I have, I'm like, this might be better for a film or a TV pilot or something like that. So I'll try to balance that to keep me going as far as writing. So if I can't write a script or that's not in me right now, let me see if I can write this here new book. So I'll try to make sure that I'm doing one or the other to keep myself writing. And then some days I'm like, I don't want to do none of this. I want to sit here and I want to binge watch something on Netflix. And I'll look at my computer with an attitude.
Netflix is the devil. Oh, my God.
Or I'll just randomly, find other stuff to do. Or I'll read, one of my other, one of the other authors that I love reading within the urban community and the indie community. I'll read, books. I haven't read a full book in, maybe 2 months because I've been constantly writing on these scripts and trying to get, my next pilot and everything kind of solid. But other than that, if I'm not writing, I'm trying to read or watch TV or something that would give me that creative spark to where I feel like, okay, now let me get back in front of this here computer. But yeah, I definitely procrastinate when it comes to writing some days, and I'm just okay with it. I don't nobody can make me feel bad about procrastinating because I get the job done. And once I complete it, I'm pleased with what I've created. So as long as it comes out good and, the people receive it and they enjoy it, that's all that really, matters at the end.
At the onset of the creation of Anointed Inspirations Publishing, what was your mission?
I fought this mission when it was brought to my attention. This is when a lot of the bigger indie companies like David Weed Presents, he wanted to, he had this great idea of starting sub companies up under his. He was like, there isn't any, Christian fiction companies. Why don't you start it? I was like, nope. He was like, why not? Nope. God didn't tell me to do that. You told me to do that. God didn't tell me to do that. So I was against it from the beginning. I didn't want to be responsible for anybody else but me because right now I'm trying to get me together. So after a while, when I started feeling more comfortable about, what it is, I was like, you know what? Okay, why not, have a space or a company for other creators and authors like myself who want to, entertain people, but they want to also give people, hope and inspiration. And so I talked with my godmother, my husband. I was like, what do you guys think of, this? And then one night I just actually had a dream about Anointed Inspirations. Like I knew the name when I woke up the next morning. I knew what it was that I was supposed to do. And I really wanted to be a company that represented, or we showed that we have a relationship with God, with our Creator. We know that everybody's not going to have our same beliefs, so we're okay with that. But the ones who want to but don't know how to, and the ones who have, felt hurt, we wanted to give them, that hope and that love back. So that's really what AIP is for. We want to entertain, but we also want to inspire. We want to give people, that comfort that they may not get from somebody else. The comfort in one of our novels may be what gets them out of that dark place. So we can contribute to that in any kind of way, even if it's just for one person. I feel like we've done our due diligence, complete the mission that, God gave me in order to reach these people.
What services or products do you offer at AIP?
AIP handles everything. We do the editing, proofreading, test readers, covers. We do promotion, but I also encourage our authors that no one can push your baby like you push your baby. Like, that's your child. So the more that you let people know who you are, what you're about, what it is you do, and share yourself with people, that will also, help to grow your fan base, because I had to do it. Like, David was really adamant about getting myself out there, letting people know who I am, letting them into my world, and to be able to share, these experiences with them. So we provide the bulk of everything for the author, but that's one of the things that we also require our authors to do as well, to put yourself out there so that people know that, hey, you're human, you are, doing this because you love it and you want to help. But we do offer a lot of that. We don't right now publish nonfiction, but I do have it open for like poetry, inspirational poetry, the inspirational fiction. It doesn't have to all be just, Christian fiction. If they, if they're Muslim and they have a way of, they want to share their stories, that's something else that, we can tap into, because I feel like I see a lot of, different religions and relationships, but I don't see, things like we create to be able to speak to them. So that's something that I'm open to, because I respect people, I respect their beliefs, and who knows, they may get a reader that may eventually read some of, our stuff, and vice versa, and just help them to get an understanding and to get a closer relationship with whoever they believe in. So that's what AIP, offers, and I feel like it's not a lot of companies out there that do that.
As the CEO of AIP, how would you measure success in your role?
In my role, I feel like, as far as it comes to the support, we have a lot of support. We've had, in the beginning, there was extreme support, from people. Some of that's fallen off. But I think because I kept going, we've had authors, be a part of AIP that have left, that, we just weren't seeing creatively eye to eye or whatever it was. But I'm most proud of, we didn't give up. Like, I have not let this company go, no matter how many times I cry or complain to my husband and get frustrated. I haven't let go, because I know that in the end that this is bigger than me. So even if I have one author, if I'm the only author, I just feel like I've accomplished not letting people deter me from what it is that I set out to do. So if we have, high numbers of sales, good. If we don't, that's fine, because we're still here. We're still standing. We didn't quit because, things and people fell off. So that's the thing that I'm most proud of, is that we're still standing, we're still producing, we're still, putting out. We may not be producing as fast as, other indie companies, and that's okay with me. I've never been one to, try to follow anybody or keep up with, what everybody else is doing. I'm going to stay at my own pace. I'm going to go in the direction that I want to go in. I'm going to go in the direction that God leads me in. Regardless of who's with me and who's not, AIP is going to stand. AIP is going to continue to represent what we represent, and we're going to continue to do the work regardless of, who's here with us or not. But my main goal is I'm hoping that with this new journey that I'm on personally, that this will open even more doors for the authors of AIP. So this road that I'm on, I'm not just trying to, build my career and then leave everybody behind. I want to build this career so that I can bring everybody that's connected to my company with me. Like, I want to be able to put their books, on screen or on stage. And to do that, I have to, learn about that. And I want to be able to, be that one to say, okay, we did the book industry, now let's go over here and knock down these doors in the film world, and let's make our mark. So everything that, I'm doing, I'm proud of. I'm proud of me just really not giving up and staying focused, regardless of what things look like. I know that at the end of this tunnel, it's going to be worth it.
And I believe it was Reagan Dennis who said that was a goal of hers, to see one of her books turned into a huge movie that people from everywhere can go and see. Told her, I want to say maybe she said 5 years, 10 years, I don't know. Whenever she said it was, I told her, all right, because we're going to have a big release party. We like releases over here on Endie Fiya. We have a huge release party for whenever this is done. So, make sure that you have a vision board and that you're able to see, those things that you're speaking into existence. To put it out in the atmosphere is one thing, but hold yourself accountable and be able to see. You know what I'm saying? You see your book right here, and then at the end of this vision board, you see, big lights surrounding your book, and, just make sure that every day that you're working towards that goal, no matter how long it takes you to reach it, do something every day to make sure that you're working towards that goal. How do you feel that you make a difference in the world?
I think I make a difference in the world by being me and showing people that it's okay to, make the mistakes. You can bounce back from them. I'm always like, if you've never met me in person, but all you've seen of me online, or that's the only presence that you know, when you meet me in real life, that's the same person. So you get me online and offline the same, because there are a lot of people that, they're one way online, and then when you see them in person, it's a totally different, attitude.
Yeah.
I can't. That's too heavy for me to carry. I'm a big girl already. I can't carry no extra, mess. So you're going to get me, regardless if we're on, online, or if we're off and in person. I'm still going to be that Kiki. I'm going to say what I want to say. I'm going to say it how it comes out. I'm going to say I'm sorry if it come out wrong. But that's just me. And I think that I've had people come to me telling me just on that alone, it made a difference, because they were going through something. And to know that they could just come to me and I can give them who I am and be that person to, pour into them and not expect anything back, just to make sure that they're okay. I think that's been the biggest gift to me through this. So I say me just being who I am, giving myself, and my personality to everybody that I meet. Like, I'm shy a little bit, point where it's uncomfortable around people. I just need to, fill you out a little bit.
Right,
but
right,
if we've already, if we've already, communicated before, because like I've met readers that, started off with me, with David, and later on in life I've been able to meet them in person, and they just love me for who I am. So if you see me online and I'm saying something crazy, just know that when you see me in person, you get that same person. Like, I can't be two
same
different
energy. Yes.
I'm just saying, if I don't like you online, I don't like you on person.
I ain't gonna like you face to face. That's right.
I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to pretend and fake it like I'm not going to do the little fake kiki. You going to get this look of I don't care because I don't care online, so I don't care offline. But if I genuinely, like you, we talk on a regular, just know that that's who you're going to get on the outside too. So it's nothing like I just can't. I don't understand people who do that, and that's why I stay away from people that do that. If we got to have this type of relationship to where you got to online, and then when I meet you, it's something totally different. Just stay away. I'm okay. I don't care. I'm not gonna be mad at you.
Promise you.
Just continue doing what you do. I'm gonna continue doing me. And if somewhere down the line that we end up having an issue, I let it go. There's no need for me to go back and forth or for us to go back and forth because it's just our season is up. So I just look at it like that, and hopefully, that resonates with people who come in contact with me. That's what they get from me, and they're able to accept that and appreciate what I give them.
Mm-hmm. So if there's somebody that's listening now and they are an aspiring author, an aspiring screenwriter, and they say, wow, I've read her bio, she's done some crazy things, crazy in a good way. I've been following, her publishing company. I've read, some of her books. I'm familiar with some of her authors, you know what I'm saying? And they feel like, hey, I think I could do this, just like she's doing it. I think I could do this. But there may be something that's holding them back. They may have a little fear, and then they may not know the direction that they need to take. What piece of advice could you offer to this aspiring author or screenwriter?
It's okay not to know. It's okay to be scared about what that next step would be. I'm scared every day. And that's just honest because I want to do so much, and sometimes it can be, I can set goals for myself that are intimidating to me, but I don't give up. I know that if the thought crossed my mind and that is put in my heart that I can do it. So whether it takes me, a year to get it done or 10 years to get it done, if it's crossed my mind and I really feel like I can do it, I'm going to work towards it. So I would tell them, if you feel like you can do it, that's something that you want to do, do it. It doesn't matter if, nobody supports in the beginning. It doesn't matter if, nobody is paying attention or they're looking but they're not really there for you. Do it anyway. Forget about the outside. Do it anyway. Do it for you. Because even if it doesn't go anywhere else, you can always sit here and say that I did it. I did what I set out to do. I completed it. And I'm proud of myself for even doing that, because a lot of people talk themselves out of their own blessings. Like they will literally talk themselves down and miss the biggest opportunity of their lives. So even if nothing comes out of that, you know that you did it, and you did it for you. So have that in your mindset that you're not doing it for everybody around you. You're doing it for you. And if you love you the way that you say you love you, then you're going to do anything that you can to make you happy. So if that makes you happy, do it. If once you get started and you figure out, okay, maybe it really isn't for me, let me try something else, do it. That's okay. Like, you have to find what it is that you're good at, what it is that you're passionate about, because if you're not passionate about whatever it is that you set out to do, it won't work anyway. It'll be a disaster. Because now you're feeling like, oh, you're just doing it to please other people. You're just doing it to be doing it. There's no fun in it. No. You have to do it for you. If that's your passion, just do it. If you don't know what you're doing, ask for help. Ask people that know what they're doing and that have done it, and ask them. Like, it's a lot of people out here that won't charge you for free information. Like, I give free information all the time because I know that I was in their position, and I wanted somebody to guide me or teach me in the area. I didn't have the money then to pay all these hundreds of dollars, so I sit there and I look at it like, if I can give you free information to help you to get to your next step, I'm going to do it. Whatever, questions you have, find somebody in that field that's willing to help you and to find your direction. If you can't, do it yourself. I learned how to screenwrite Googling. I've Googled scripts. I've Googled production companies. I've learned terminology, all just by sitting in front of my computer. But it was because I wanted to do it, and I wanted to do it bad. And this is what I'm doing for not just my immediate family. I'm doing this for my company as well. So those are my reasons behind doing this. But if people don't have that and they just want to do it. Either it's going to be good or it's going to be bad, but at least.
That is good advice right there, guys. And I tell you, when we have our guests on the show and they drop these gems, make sure that you're not sitting on what they're saying. Make sure that you make them applicable to not only what it is that you're, hoping to accomplish professionally or in your career, but just make that applicable to all points of your life. Because a lot of us do use barriers. What if, I can't fear to hold us in a position where we can't overcome, where we can't excel, where we can't be successful. So nothing, can happen until you step out and just do it, like she said. Great advice. Denora, I want to thank you again for joining me this evening. I want to go ahead and open the floor to you now so that you can get all of your contact information out for those who may be listening live, for those who may come back and listen to one of the many playback shows. The floor is now yours to get all of your contact information out.
I thank you once again for having me, for reaching out and giving me this opportunity. You can reach me on Instagram at Ms. Boone 81. That's MZBOONE 81. You can also follow the Quarantine Babe the Movie IG page. It's the same, Quarantine Babe the Movie. On Twitter, I am Ms. Boone 27. It's MZBOONE 27. You can follow me on Facebook. It's author Denora, or my personal page, Denora Jefferson Boone. My website is listed on all of my social media, so if you want to go to DenoraTheCreator.com and learn more about me. And I think that's it. You're, in the business, and LinkedIn is your thing. It's under Denora M. Boone. And I think that's about it. If you want to reach out to me, for submission inquiries, you can also reach out to me at denora.boone04@gmail.com.
That's what I'm talking about. Whatever platform you're on, she got a platform for you to connect with her. All right? So don't sleep on this information, guys. She said submission. She said inquiries. She gave you that email address. She gave you all social media links. So make sure that you hit her up. All right? Guys, make sure that you're tuning in to Endie Fiya and following us on all social media at Endie Fiya. Make sure that you're following me, The Girl in Motion, on all social media at Girl in Motion. And congratulations. I want to say congratulations to Endie Fiya. I don't think we made this announcement publicly just across social media, but we haven't made it publicly. You know that one of our goals for YouTube this year was to have our custom URL, and you have to have 100 subscribers to be able to do so. We met that goal. Yay. So we have our custom URL.
Congratulations.
It's youtube.com/C/Endie Fiya. All right? And so we now have to get on the second goal for YouTube. Of course, that's just to increase our number of subscribers before now and the end of the year. So it looks like all of our goals that we did place upon ourselves this year in the show, we're being able to see listening audience is supporting us wholeheartedly. Not that you guys weren't doing it before, but you really stepping up and showing out now. You know what I'm saying? I'm seeing monetization. I'm seeing the checks and everything from our platforms, and it's amazing. And it's because you guys continue to support us, to listen to the show, to listen to the playback shows, sharing everything that you see, doing your own little promotion for the show. And we greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate all that you're doing and you continue to do. So I just wanted to make that public announcement. Make sure that you're right back here Thursday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for singer-songwriter, actress, model, Jordan Pauline. All right? Until then, you guys have a good night.